Wholesaling real estate is the perfect investment strategy for many aspiring investors in Florida. The process involves finding deeply discounted properties, securing them under contract, and then selling that contract to another buyer, usually a real estate investor, at a higher price. Now in this video, I'm going to give you a detailed overview on how to wholesale real estate in Florida, and I'll highlight the steps, legal considerations, market insights, strategies for success, and all the resources to help you get started today. And be sure to download our state-by-state guide on how to wholesale real estate in the description down below. So first off, what is wholesaling real estate? Wholesaling real estate is a strategy where an investor secures the rights to purchase a property and then sells those rights to another buyer for a profit. That's why the common wholesale strategy is known as the assignment of contract. And here's how it works. Imagine you find a property worth $400,000 and negotiate a purchase agreement with the seller for $380,000. Now, instead of buying the property yourself, you simply get it under contract and then assign those contract rights to another buyer for a fee, perhaps $10,000. So the new buyer pays the seller $380,000 and you receive a $10,000 assignment fee. And that's exactly how wholesaling works in Florida. Just ask Aaron, who was able to wholesale his first deal in Miami within 3 months of joining our Ultimate Investor program. Aaron graduated college only 2 years ago and worked a few odd jobs since then, but he quickly realized wholesaling was the best way to build the future he wanted. So he joined our program, locked in his first deal, and walked away with a $12,000 profit from wholesaling. And Aaron's story is proof that our wholesaling system and that wholesaling really works in Florida. Now the best part is, there's no reason why you can't do the same. So let's dive into how to wholesale real estate in Florida step by step. Step number 1 is picking your real estate market. A lot of people get started in wholesaling and want to virtually wholesale somewhere half across the country. While that's possible, that's not what I recommend. What I suggest is actually starting in your local market. For example, if you're located in Orlando, Florida, then start wholesaling there. Being local allows you to understand the neighborhoods, allows you to drive the properties and meet with real estate agents when necessary. And understanding your local market gives you an advantage. You might already know the areas that are growing, the areas with high rental demand, or neighborhoods with development projects. And this insight will help you to find better deals and avoid properties that are challenging to sell. So step number 1 is picking your market and starting local. That's whatever city or county you are in. We recommend starting there. Step 2 is finding 3 to 5 quality cash buyers who you can actually wholesale deals to. So cash buyers are real estate investors, typically fix and flippers, who buy multiple deals per month and are eager to work with wholesalers. And we recommend finding these cash buyers first so you can learn the exact types of deals they're interested in buying in the specific areas that they like to buy in. So for example, some cash buyers may only want to purchase in Miami, while others might want to be focused in Orlando or Tampa. But by identifying cash buyers active in your area, you increase the likelihood of your success and maximize your wholesale fee potential. So the next question is, how do you find these cash buyers in Florida? Well, here's a technique that we call the Google Ninja trick. Let's say you're based in Orlando and you want to find cash buyers in that area. What you want to do is go to Google and type in "Sell My House Fast Orlando, Florida." Now in the search results, you'll see real estate investors who have invested into optimizing their websites to rank for those keywords. And these investors are likely active cash buyers who are interested in connecting with motivated sellers. And these investors, these cash buyers, are constantly looking for motivated sellers who want to sell quickly. So we approach this as if we're motivated sellers ourselves. And by doing this, we can easily find actual cash buyers online. And this strategy doesn't take hours. In fact, you can often find cash buyers in Florida within minutes using this strategy. And another effective way to find cash buyers in Florida is to use Craigslist. So go to Craigslist.org, select your city, so let's say Miami, and then type in "Sell My House Fast" for cash or "Buy My House," and you'll start to see advertisements from cash buyers who are actively looking for sellers. Now from there, you can browse these ads and find the contact information, like emails and phone numbers of these cash buyers in your area who are actually interested in purchasing your wholesale deals. So great job. Once you've lined up some cash buyers, it's time to move on. Step number 3 is finding deals on the MLS. So the MLS, or the Multiple Listing Service, is a database of all available listings in your area, and it's incredibly powerful for locating properties that you can wholesale. And here are some of our favorite strategies to help you identify potential wholesale deals using the MLS. First up, it's what we call the Day Zero strategy. With this approach, you check for new listings that have come onto your market within the last 24 hours. So let's say there are about 50 new listings. You then narrow it down to focus only on the distressed properties. And there might be 5 or 10 that actually fit this criteria, and these are the ones you want to actually pay attention to. And we love this strategy because these properties are freshly listed and often need to sell quickly, sometimes requiring an all-cash buyer. And being among the first to act on these listings increases your chances of securing a property under contract before other investors get involved. So if you can be first to the punch, you might just lock down a great wholesale deal. Over the years, we've been able to secure dozens and dozens of properties because we were the first to call on a deal and present an offer that the agent and the seller liked. Now, another great MLS strategy is targeting old listings. These are properties that have been on the market for more than 90 days. And after sitting unsold for so long, sellers are often more open to negotiation, making this a great opportunity for wholesalers. For instance, you might find a distressed property on the MLS in Florida that's been listed at $500,000 but hasn't moved for 3 months. So over time, the seller may reduce that purchase price to $400,000 due to their motivation or personal circumstances. Or perhaps there was a legal issue like a divorce or probate that's now been resolved, and now the seller is ready to actually make a deal. This strategy helps you find motivated sellers who are likely to accept more favorable terms. So be sure to target those old listings, investigate the underlying issues, and then see if you can step in as the problem solver, that solutions provider. When you can help the seller with a solution, you significantly increase your chances of getting that wholesale deal under contract. So that's why we always want to bring solutions to the table. Now, the third strategy for finding deals on the MLS is keyword searches. This involves typing in specific keywords that real estate agents use in the property description to signal that a property might be distressed. So try searching for terms like contractor special, cash only, or diamond in the rough, or even needs TLC. The MLS search algorithm will pull up listings with these keywords, making it easier for you to identify potential wholesale deals that need that tender loving care and that may be perfect for an investor. Now, step number 4 in wholesaling real estate is reaching out to the real estate agents who represent the properties you identified on the MLS. So now it's time to actually call the real estate agent in charge of the deal. Now, one of the benefits of using the MLS is that it actually includes the agent's contact information, like their phone number and email, so you can easily reach out. And when you speak to the agent, your goal is to confirm that this property is truly distressed and suitable for a real estate investor. And keep in mind, we only want to pursue properties that need repairs or updates and where the seller might be motivated to sell quickly due to their situation. Now, sometimes the property description won't directly indicate that the seller is in a distressed situation, so it's not uncommon for this information to then come out during a phone conversation with the actual real estate agent. And that's why giving the agent a call is so important. It's absolutely vital. And don't hesitate to ask questions that can help you understand the seller's motivation and the property's condition. So during this call, we gather more details about the property itself. What kind of renovations does it need? Are there any unique features that make it stand out? And what does the agent think it could sell for in its best possible condition? And this initial conversation is what we call the discovery call, because we're discovering everything that we can about this deal. Now, once we have all the essential information from this call, we're ready to dive into the next step, which is analyzing the deal. So in step 5, let's focus on running the numbers. This is where we see if this property actually has potential to be a solid wholesale deal. First up is the ARV, or the after repair value. This is the estimated market value of the property once it's been fully repaired and upgraded. Then we need to figure out the repair costs, an estimate of what it will take to get the property into its best possible condition. And after that, we decide on our desired wholesale fee. Now, a common target that we love to aim for is $10,000. We consider that fair for the work involved in finding, analyzing, and assigning the deal. And sometimes you may make a lot more, right? We have. And sometimes you may make less, but $10,000 is a great starting point for any wholesaler. And finally, we determine our purchase price. This is the offer you'll make the seller in order to get the property under contract. Now, a widely used formula to calculate this is called the MAO formula, which stands for maximum allowable offer. And this will determine the maximum price you can offer while still leaving room for a profitable wholesale deal. And what this is you take the ARV of the property, you multiply it by 70%, and then you subtract the repairs, and you subtract the wholesale fee as well, and from there you get your maximum allowable offer price. So For example, let's say the ARV of the property is $600,000. You'd start by multiplying that by 70%, which gives you $420,000. Then you subtract the estimated repair cost, let's say $40,000. That brings you down to $380,000. From there, you subtract your desired wholesale fee, let's say it's $10,000. And what this will leave you with is a $370,000 maximum allowable offer. And so with this simple formula, if you can secure the property under contract at $370,000, you'll have a strong chance, a very high chance, of wholesaling it to a cash buyer and making at least a $10,000 fee on it. Now, this is a very straightforward, simple rule of thumb. And in our experience, as professional wholesalers and real estate investors, if you want to make your offers more competitive, consider using 80% of the ARV instead of 70%. This approach allows you to have a higher offer price, giving you a competitive edge while still leaving enough room for a good profit margin for the fix and flipper and for you to make a $10,000 wholesale fee. Now, at our company, Real Estate Skills, when we wholesale and flip property, we don't use a simple rule of thumb like this. We actually love using our deal calculator that we've been using for over 12 years. And this allows us to actually crunch our numbers down to the T and get the largest wholesale fees possible instead of using percentages that might leave a lot of money on the table. So if you want to try out our deal calculator, head to realestateskills.com/calculator, and then you can plug in all your numbers to analyze all your wholesale deals in Florida and get the largest wholesale fees possible. Now, once you've analyzed the deal, it's time for step 6, submitting offers and negotiating. This is arguably the most crucial step, as you can't secure a deal under contract unless you actually submit an offer. Now, at this stage, it's essential to submit professional, well-prepared offers. For instance, you wouldn't want to send an offer with a 60-day closing time frame when the seller needs to move in 14 days, right? Requests like that aren't typically appealing to a motivated seller or agent. Instead, we want to sound like we know what we're doing, and you actually want to know what you're doing with any deal, and you want to be efficient and want this relationship with the agent. You want them to see that this relationship is going to be worthwhile and for the long haul. So use terms that real estate agents are used to seeing from investors. And a clean offer that agents like to see will include minimal contingencies, like a 7-day inspection period and a 14-day closing. This type of offer demonstrates seriousness and the ability to close quickly. A quick closing timeframe is essential for many sellers in distressed situations who need to get out of their current situation as soon as possible. Now, keep in mind that most offers will require an earnest money deposit, or also known as an EMD. This is a good faith deposit that shows you're serious about the deal, and typically it's due within 72 hours of getting the property under contract and can range anywhere from $500 to $10,000 depending on your area. Now, typically this deposit is refundable, but be sure to check the actual contract you're using to confirm whether it is refundable or non-refundable. And if you want access to our contracts for wholesaling real estate in Florida, then you can download them at realestateskills.com/contracts, and you can grab them in the description down below as well. Now, here's an important pro tip for wholesaling real estate in Florida to minimize your risk. Always include a 7-day inspection contingency in your contract, and this 7-day inspection period gives you a week to inspect a property and decide if it's a good fit for you and your partners. It also provides you a way to back out of the contract if you can't find that buyer in time or if the property doesn't meet your expectations. And as a general guideline, aim for a 14-day close on your contract or sooner if possible. That will make your offer much more desirable. For real estate investors, this time frame is very common and makes your offer more appealing to agents and sellers. However, keep in mind, if the seller needs more time, let's say they need 28 days to close, then adjust your closing date to accommodate them. Don't stick to a 14-day close when they need 28 days to close. So flexibility with closing terms can go a long way in making your offers more attractive. Now, to maintain professionalism and credibility, always include a proof of funds letter with every offer you send. This document shows that you have the financial ability to purchase the property, and it's important that you have this so you are taken seriously. Now, you can obtain proof of funds from hard money lenders or private money lenders, but remember, having this document is absolutely essential if you want to be taken seriously and get your offers actually accepted. And if you'd like a guide on how to obtain a proof of funds, visit realestateskills.com/proof, and we'll show you 2 easy ways to get a proof of funds instantly. Now let's move on to step number 7, my favorite step, closing the deal. This is the final stage of the transaction where ownership officially transfers from the seller to the buyer and you assign the contract rights to the buyer. This is also when you'll receive your wholesale fee for completing the deal and assigning the contract. The closing process involves working closely with title and escrow companies to ensure all paperwork is in order and confirming that the funds have been properly transferred. Now, when you're starting out, you may not know which escrow company or title companies are best to work with in your area. So in this case, if you're just starting out, ask the real estate agent for recommendations. They often know reliable local companies that can handle these types of transactions. Now, as you complete more deals, you'll start to identify your favorite escrow and title companies to work with, which will then streamline your closing process and make your transactions even easier. Now, a common question we often get is wholesaling real estate even legal in Florida? And the answer is yes. Wholesaling is legal in Florida as long as you comply with the state laws and regulations. The key distinction to understand in wholesaling is the difference between being a wholesaler and a real estate agent. As a wholesaler, you're only selling the contract rights to buy a property, not the property itself. So in other words, you're transferring what's known as the equitable interest in the contract to the end buyer. And in Florida, you do not need a real estate license to wholesale because you're not actually selling a house. You're selling the contract rights. So you are not acting as a real estate agent. However, if you were to represent another party in the buying or selling of a property itself, then you would need a real estate license. And so always keep this distinction in mind. It's very important and it's worth repeating. Now, when marketing the deal, make sure you're clear that you're selling a contract and not the property, because advertising the property without ownership or a real estate license can be construed as unauthorized brokerage activity, which can lead to penalties and fines. So when you actually advertise the interest in the contract, it ensures you're operating within the legal boundaries and respecting the rules defined by the Florida Real Estate Commission. And now that you know it's perfectly legal to wholesale real estate in Florida, here are 3 tips to increase your chances of success. Tip number 1 is to use the MLS to find distressed properties and sellers in challenging situations. So the goal is to identify properties with deferred maintenance. So properties that are outdated and in need of updates or repairs. And I'm talking about homes that are stuck in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and haven't been updated in quite some time. These types of properties are often more attractive to investors because they can typically be purchased at a lower price and then renovated and flipped for a profit. And some examples of major repairs in distressed properties include old electrical wiring, outdated electrical panels, mold issues, cracked foundations, and even fire damage. And these types of issues usually mean the property needs to be purchased with all cash. Now, why is that? Because properties in this kind of distressed condition typically won't qualify for traditional bank financing. So banks won't issue a mortgage for a property that requires extensive repairs, which makes it a great opportunity for investors who are able to buy with all cash. And it means a great opportunity for wholesalers. These properties are less appealing to the average home buyer who relies on financing and are instead ideal for cash investors looking for renovation or flip opportunities. Now, as for distressed and challenging situations on the seller's end, this is also what we're looking for, and this can range from personal challenges like divorce, a death in the family, or being a tired landlord, to financial pressures like facing foreclosure or short sales or properties that have already been foreclosed on, like bank-owned properties. And you may also find sellers who need to relocate very quickly or simply looking to offload a burdensome property. And the list goes on and on and on. Each one of these situations can create an opportunity for a great wholesale deal. Now, what most new wholesalers do is that they actually don't target distressed properties, and they end up competing against first-time home buyers who can secure mortgages to buy and move in ready homes. And when you try to wholesale these types of properties, it usually doesn't work. Trust me, I know, because I used to do that. And it's because these properties that are already renovated, already beautiful, that aren't distressed, where the seller's not in a challenging situation, what it means is that a normal home buyer can buy them. You're competing with the whole entire market. So when we go after properties that require the renovations, where the seller's in a challenging situation, that property is only going to go to an investor. So we only want to compete with real estate investors. And that's why we target distressed properties with sellers in a distressed situation. Now, tip number 2 is to focus on properties with an active status on the MLS. On the MLS, properties are marked with various statuses such as contingent, pending, sold, expired, withdrawn, and even canceled. Now, as wholesalers, we should be pursuing active listings because they're currently for sale, giving you the best chance of getting the property under contract. Now, many newbie wholesalers waste their time all the time on pending or contingent properties that are actually already under contract with other buyers, which totally limits your chance of success because it's already under contract. So instead, focus only on active properties that are active on the market for sale that are not under contract yet. This will increase your likelihood of success. Now, tip number 3, and this is my favorite, is to track the written offers that you send. This is the most important KPI or key performance indicator. So what exactly counts as an offer sent when you're serious about wholesaling? And here's where many new wholesalers and even some seasoned investors get it wrong. They think that sending a text message or leaving a voicemail or giving a verbal offer over the phone to an agent counts as sending an offer. But in our book, an offer isn't truly sent unless it's in writing. A real offer is when the listing agent sends you the written contract, usually via email, and then you sign it and send it back. That's what we consider an offer sent. And tracking these written offers is essential for a successful wholesaling business. Because if you don't fully grasp this, you'll be remaining at the amateur level forever and struggling to get deals under contract. When we actually submit a written offer, what happens is it sits in the email inbox of the listing agent handling the deal. And all that's needed to actually get the property under contract now is for the seller to actually sign that contract. That's it, right? If you just do a verbal offer over the phone, a contract still needs to be written up. It still needs to be sent to you. You still need to sign it. You still need to send it back. Do you see the difference between actually having a written offer signed and in the agent's hand? It is right there. All the seller needs to do is sign it. And at that point, once the seller signs the contract, you now have a binding contract, and now you can move forward with wholesaling that deal and wholesaling that contract. And what we like to say at Real Estate Skills is that an offer isn't real unless it's in writing. These written offers are worth their weight in gold. They're extremely valuable. So be diligent about tracking each written offer you send. And I challenge you to aim for submitting 1 offer a day if you're serious about wholesaling real estate in Florida. And there you have it. That's exactly how we wholesale real estate in Florida. And I wanted to share the latest tips and insights for you too, so you can legally do this and be successful when wholesaling real estate. And if you're interested in learning how to actually wholesale, fix and flip, and then also buy rental properties to build wealth, be sure to check out my webinar that I do every single week at realestateskills.com/webinar. During the webinar, I'll cover number 1, how to spot lucrative deals in any market, 2, strategies to invest with little to no money down across the United States, and 3, ways to generate both an active and passive income through real estate. Thanks for giving this a watch. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you know anyone interested in wholesaling real estate in Florida, please share this video with them. And don't forget to check out the wealth of resources we have in the description of this video and at realestateskills.com. We'll see you in the next video.